Today, I am taking the opportunity to share with you my updated thoughts, feelings, opinions, all the things after having used Gather Round in our home for 2 years. Let's do this. We will be completing our 8th year homeschooling this year. So this video is going to be totally devoted to the Gather Round Homeschool Curriculum, the unit studies from Rebecca Spooner. We have completed 2 years using Gather Round in our home. Let's talk about that just for a moment, shall we? There are so many reasons why I love Gather Round. So many reasons. And in today's video, I wanted to pull out a few of those reasons why I love it, but I also wanted to bring you back to that place of where I was when Gather Round very first came out 2 years ago, where I was mentally, I wouldn't say physically because I was pretty much the same physically, but mentally, when it came to homeschooling, I was drained, I was burnt out, I was defeated, I was all things. I was in a very hard place with homeschooling. I was ready to put my kids in a charter school. I was done. I was overwhelmed and exhausted and fill in the blank, right? Fill in the blank. Or to this day, the very first Instagram post that I had seen from Gather Round, all about this curriculum. Like, what is this? What are unit studies? It's something I've always wanted to put in my home and implement in my homeschool, but in myself, I couldn't do it. I didn't know how. I didn't feel quote unquote qualified. I'm just gonna say that because it's not a desire inside of me to create unit studies. You guys, if I could take you back to where I was, Gather Round was an answer to prayer for me. And I mean every single word of that. That is why to this day, I continue to use it in our home because my thoughts, my feelings, my updated opinion is the same. Nothing has changed. I still love and use Gather Round in our homeschool. And I wish some of you might feel me on this as far as that place of desperation where I was 2 years ago. I can't even put into words all of my thoughts and feelings and emotions, but it was one of the hardest years. Where I was 2.5 years ago was a hard place that I don't ever want to go back to in homeschooling. That was when Gather Round was born. I remember seeing the very first post about Gather Round and I wanted more. I knew in my heart this was something I wanted and I needed in our home because I was relying so much on curriculum and books and all these extra things that I just wanted connection. I wanted connection with my kids. I wanted bonding. I wanted family time. I felt like we were going in so many different directions. I wanted to bring us together. I wanted closeness and bonding and connection and all of the things. That meant and still does mean so much more to me than any curriculum or any book or anything that I put in front of my children. And with Gather Round, it brings that. We all sit down together. We all do our books together. We all go in the camper to do lesson 1 of Earth Science together, which we just did 2 days ago. It's bringing us together instead of dividing us and having us all go separate ways to teach everybody at a different level, at a different pace, all of the things. Gather Round brings us together. I remember being approached by one of the moderators for Gather Round in the Facebook group, and they approached me and asked if I wanted to go live and share what Gather Round was like in our homeschool and how it has changed things in our home. I remember praying specifically over that moment and that message and what I was going to share. And I remember getting so emotional towards the end of it because I felt with my heart every single feeling deeply. Like it was, these feelings were so real to me. And let me know down below if any of you happened to see that in the very early stages of Gather Round where I went live and in the Facebook community, which I had never done. I'm not really active in the Facebook community, but those feelings that I shared in that live are still how I feel today. Yes, I add in little things here and there. I add in extra language. Yes, I add in obviously math. I add in extra things here and there. That is the freedom that we have in homeschooling We get to do that. We get to add in extra things that we want to add in or take away or rabbit trail down this avenue or keep it simple and stay in the books. Like you can do whatever you want and take it any avenue in any direction that you want. And that is exactly what we do in our home. And that is why you will see Gather Round Homeschool unit studies. You will see different things that I supplement in here and there because that's just what works for us in our home. So I want to go through with you really quick the units that we have actually used in our home. And as I was making this list out, I realized I have not used a single unit from year 2. I have not touched a year 2 unit study from Gather Round yet. We are still working our way through year 1. So there are so many of you who ask, how do you do Gather Round and all the other things? How many days do you do Gather Round? How do you make it fit with all the other things you're doing? And the answer to that is we only do Gather Round 2 to 3 times a week, tops. That's it. It's not something I do every single day in our homeschool. 2 to 3 days a week with Gather Round, and that is perfect. That is a sweet spot for us in our home. Here's the list of unit studies that I've used from Gather Round. We have birds, Asia, space, oceans, North America, human body, earth science, which we're currently working through right now. We're on lesson 3. The US government, we've done Christmas twice, and the He is Risen Easter unit study. That is what we've done so far from Gather Round. So there are still units from year 1 that I want to complete, like Africa and what is the other one? Europe. We haven't done those yet, but I am not pressured to complete any number of unit studies from Gather Round at any point in time in my home. Like we seriously will use one, go through it at our leisure, and then move on to the next. This last one, Earth Science, I let my boys pick what they wanted to do, and that was what they chose. So we are working through Earth Science. I'm really hoping that we're actually going to move into botany, and maybe that will be our last unit study from Gather Round for this specific homeschool year. I don't know. We'll see. But we're on lesson 3 of Earth Science. It's going well. It's going good. I'm loving it so far. So we'll see. So that's kind of my tentative goal or plan when it comes to our homeschool and what we're going to be using in the next month or so as we finish out this homeschool year. So going back to why I love Gather Round and what it is that I love about Gather Round, I'm going to share with you a few of the notes that I've taken, and these are sincerely from my heart. That is what I always intend to share here in this space is encouragement, my heart and soul behind all of it. I want to share with you what I love about Gather Round, why we still use it in our home, why it is something that I don't foresee us. Obviously, I don't know the future. Things change. You all know I love change. This has been around for 2 years, and I'm still hungry for more. That desire and that hunger has not burnt out. It's still here. For me, that's God. This curriculum, some of you will think I'm crazy, but was an absolute answer to this homeschool mom's prayers. If you could place yourself where I was at that point in time in my life, this curriculum was an answer to prayer. This is why I love Gather Round, why we continue to use it. This is why. The connections, as I touched on briefly a few moments ago. This brings my family, my boys together. We sit on the couch and read together. I don't want us going separate ways, always in separate rooms, in a million different directions. This brings us together. All of this is grounded in God. I love that so much. I love Rebecca's heart behind this curriculum. I love her passion and her obedience. I love what she has created for us homeschool moms. What she has created for me and my home has changed our homeschool. As crazy as that might sound to you, it has absolutely changed our homeschool. And that's not for everyone. That won't fit for everyone, and I know that. But for us, I'm one person sharing my voice and my opinion and my thoughts, and that's exactly what you're getting here. This homeschool curriculum has changed our homeschool, how I view homeschooling, how I homeschool. It has changed how I homeschool multiple kids in general. This is such a beautiful thing and has been such a blessing to our family, and I can say that in complete truth. Gather Round Homeschool Curriculum has changed our homeschool. My thoughts, my opinion, my views on what homeschooling is and what it should look like. Like if you've been around here for any length of time, you will know that in the beginning, I battled with trying to recreate public school here at home. What got me out of that? This right here. These unit studies pulled me out of that mentality all the way. The next thing is going to be no surprise. I love fresh new things. My boys love fresh new things. We love change. We love getting something new. We love the new books. We love getting to flip through something that's a whole different topic. We love changing it up in our home and in our homeschool. Going through this teacher's manual, all nice and neat and crisp, I love it. I love fresh new things. I love learning about North America and then switching it up to government, and then switching it up to learning all about Jesus, switching it up to earth science, human body. I love the unit study approach to homeschool, which is something that I had never done prior to the release of the Gather Round Homeschool Curriculum. So some of you have already tackled unit studies in your home. Maybe you're a new homeschool mom and you have no idea what unit studies are. These unit studies from Rebecca Spooner are absolutely gold to me. I love the flexibility that Gather Round offers in your homeschool. There are days where we can touch everything and it's perfect. There are days where everybody's mood is different and we need to just sit down, all of us together, and we need to dive into Gather Round, whatever unit study we're working on, and we need to just show up for each other. We need to be present for each other, and we're gonna push through this. There are days where we need to cut it short. What are we gonna use? Gather Round. It's so simple and easy to cut it down where you wanna cut it down, or to build it up where you wanna build it up. If you wanna pull in extra resources, books, and all the things, and extra hands-on crafts, you are free to do that. And that's in your homeschool in general, not just related to curriculum. But I love that there are options and ideas. There's a Facebook group for Gather Round. There is an app for Gather Round. There are so many moms built in this community of support and encouragement that have so much wisdom they can share, who've already covered this unit study. There are so many moms who've already done earth science and have all kinds of resources they could share with me. All kinds of crafts, all kinds of science projects and whatever, all kinds of books and fun things that they did, which are awesome resources to me. So the community is something that I love that is surrounded by Gather Round. Having that flexibility, the time where I can say, okay, today we need to cut things a little bit short. We're gonna do a more simple lesson and we're gonna move on because we've got somewhere we need to be or something we need to do. Or the days where we've got nothing planned and we can drag it out a little bit longer and explore differently and add in maybe 3 books instead of 1 book. Maybe add in a couple YouTube videos, maybe do an experiment, which we don't do every day. We don't always do experiments. We don't always dive deeper. We don't always rabbit trail. We don't. It's up to you to decide how you want to use it, which direction you want to go for your home, your homeschool. You're not making these decisions for anybody else. It's strictly for you. Another thing that I love about these unit studies, we are learning things through these unit studies that we would not be learning otherwise. And that was something I mentioned in my very, very first video that I did where I shared my thoughts, my review of Gather Round. I touched on how we are learning things that we wouldn't be learning otherwise. That's still true to this day. Absolutely true. We have learned so many things through this unit study approach to homeschool that we wouldn't learn otherwise. It's just that simple. We are learning so much. We are covering so much. I love the constant changing. I love something new. I love fresh. I love to dive into something all the way and then move on and dive into that full force and move on. And one thing I've wanted to attempt that I haven't done yet with Gather Round is 2 unit studies at once. I wanted so badly to do botany with earth science, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I don't want to rush through any of it. I don't want to just rush and push that I miss it. You know what I mean? Because then I'm going back to where I was before Gather Round. I'm going back to that place of desperation. I'm going back to that place of burnout. I'm going back to that place of feeling lost and defeated. I don't want to do that. So I'm trying to be very focused and aware of the tendencies that I have to resort back to old ways with homeschooling. Thing I want to share with you that I love about this homeschool curriculum, these unit studies from Rebecca, these have blessed our home in so many ways. If you are a homeschool mom trying to teach multiple children and you are lost and you are defeated, I'm not saying Gather Round will work for you. I'm not saying it's a good fit for you. I'm not saying that it's some answer to prayer for you or anything. I am simply saying this is what it's done for us. This is why I love it. This is how it has helped me as a homeschool mom, and things that it offers us that we haven't found anywhere else. That is the purpose of today's video. That's what I'm bringing you in today's video, is just my heart for Gather Round and why we have continued to use it for 2 solid homeschool years. And you will see it here next year as well. Gather Round is not going anywhere, and I am so excited about year 2 because I've heard that it gets better, that it just gets better. I'm excited. I'm really looking forward to it, you guys. And I mean that with every single ounce and piece of my heart and my soul. I'm so looking forward to what is in store in these future units and to see all the things Rebecca has created for us. I love her heart behind this. I love her heart for homeschooling and for encouraging us moms. I am so incredibly grateful for her hard work and her obedience, and my thoughts and opinion on Gather Round, my review, for lack of a better word, on Gather Round has not changed. If anything, it's only solidified, because now here we are 2 years in using it, and I can still sit here and say it's not going anywhere. It is not going anywhere. So I want you to know, as you see fresh new things coming into our homeschool, as you see other things taking place, this Gather Round is not going anywhere. This is staying. These unit studies are part of our homeschool. They will be part of our homeschool for as long as I can foresee. They have changed our homeschool completely for the better. They've changed my mentality, my mindset, my views in such an amazing way. And I love that they are biblically solid. I love that we are doing scripture work. I love that every single thing is tied back to God and his creation. That is such a beautiful thing to me. It is so important to me in the items that I bring into our home and into our homeschool. That is everything I have for you in today's video. I do want to thank you so much for spending time with me here in this place today. I would love to hear from you in the comment section down below. If you have any further questions regarding Gather Round, let me know. I would love to answer any questions you have in the comment section below. I'm gonna go ahead and pop up a few other videos here for you in case you are interested in checking out some of the other videos here on my channel at Simply Living It. You can find us over on Instagram, Simply Living It, if you wanna see some of the behind the scenes as well. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to click that red subscribe button and hit that little thumbs up, because it helps my channel out more than you even know. Thank you for being here. I will see you next time. Bye.